There's Kevin with the Rogue Market here with this week's episode of the Rogue Roundup, a series in which I give my picks on Legacy, Standard, Commander, Pauper, and even Modern for cards that I think are going to go up. Starting off this week, we're going to take a look at Pauper, and I've chosen Galvanic Blast from the Boros Monarch deck. Also sees play in the Affinity deck, and even though I don't think that Pauper is in the greatest state for investments at the moment, this is one of those cards that is also a double dipper. You will find this in the classic Affinity builds as a 4 of, and it's one of those cards that's hard to shoe in any sort of reprint set with the key mechanic of Metalcraft. Last time around, before this was reprinted in the Dual Decks Else vs. Inventors, this got all the way above the dollar mark. Else vs. Inventors doesn't have that much stock out there. It was the last dual deck. However, those are long gone now, and I'm expecting this price to start to go up, as this is the double dipper that I like to target. And I think if you get in anywhere between the 25 to 50 cent mark on Galvanic Blast, we could see the $1 or $2 mark before this card gets reprinted. Next up, we have Legacy. The Legacy meta has really been shifting towards a mono-red prison, and there is a card from Iconic Masters that is a 4 of in this deck and has a very low price point. This is Magus of the Moon. Occasionally a Magus of the Moon sees play in Modern. It also sees play in a lot of Commander decks where people are looking to shut down Greedy Mana Base. And this card I like most because of the price point. Iconic Masters, when it came out, it was a $20 card and has been devalued all the way down to $5. However, the supply of Iconic Masters is really running low. You can't get this from the distributors anymore, and you can see that Magus of the Moon hasn't even flatlined out. It's starting to go up in value. So this is the time I like to target these particular cards, when they either flatline out or they start to increase in value. And so Magus of the Moon, if you follow the trajectory, should be a quick double up, at least by the end of the year. Who knows with this crazy market how much this card could go up in the next few months. Next we have Modern. If we can learn anything from the past, it's when a card from Modern that sees a lot of play gets reprinted in Standard, the price gets absolutely crushed. However, if you look back at those particular cards, they tend to rebound quite quickly. And this card from Guilds of Ravnica, called Narcomoeba, is no exception. This card is currently going for 25 cents, meaning it is a bulk rare, meaning you can probably find this in bulk rare bins. However, this sees a ton of play in arguably the best deck in Modern, being Dredge, also sees play in Legacy, and occasionally sees play in other formats. Although Guilds of Ravnica is a first set, I typically don't like to invest in first sets because they exist throughout the entire longevity of the Standard season. However, a price point of 25 cents of a card that sees so much play in arguably the most popular format, I think is just a duh card to go up. This was last pre-printed in Modern Masters 1, and before that existed in Future Sight. So the supply of this card actually isn't as high as you'd expect from a card that has been printed 3 times. Moving on to Standard, I really like Cindervines. Cindervines is included in the Guilds of in the Ravnica Allegiance guild kits. However, it's just a 1 of in those guild kits, and it sees a lot of play throughout both Modern and in Standard. It's hard for me to envision a Standard where Cindervines is not going to be good, and it's hard to even envision a Modern where Cindervines is not a good sideboard card for decks like Burn. Cindervines is currently going for about $1 to $1.25, and I think it's a pretty good pickup at that range, as it is already flatlined out. Ravnica Allegiance doesn't have a lot of time to be open left. With War of the Sparks coming out, that looks like it's going to be a very popular set. We have Modern Horizons on the horizon, which is also going to gobble up a lot of the sealed market, and therefore I don't think the supply is going to have much of these Cindervines. If a red-green deck dominates, or even a red deck splashing green like we see now, dominates in the next rotated format, I think that this card could easily be one of those $4 or $5 rares. It will actually surprise me if Cindervines does not hit that $4 to $5 mark sometime within the next Standard season. So that leaves us my best pick of the week. We are going to take a look at Commander, and this is Rise of the Dark Realms. Rise of the Dark Realms is a semi-popular card in Commander. It's not something that's through the roof in popularity. However, the rarity of this, the Rise of the Dark Realms being only printed as a Mythic in M14, is really what I like about this card. The other thing that I absolutely like about this card is the spread. Currently, Card Kingdom is paying the $15 for Rise of the Dark Realms, which is what the market price on TCG Player has Rise of the Dark Realms. So this is what we call a non-existent spread. There is no spread between the two. You can literally buy cards right now and find a vendor to sell them to. this means inevitably there is going to be some sort of shift in price. Either TCG market price is going to go up, which I think is going to happen to match kind of the Card Kingdom sell price, or Card Kingdom's sell price will go down, which I don't think with the amount of supply that's still on TCG Player or other vendors. So I think Rise of the Dark Realms is going to be another mythic in the line of Commander cards that have been spiking the last few days, and we're going to see at least a $5 to $10 increase within the next month of this card. The supply, like I said, is very, very low. There have been some vendors that have been putting a few more copies on, but with the aggressive buy list of Card Kingdom at that $15 mark, it may be a matter of even days before this card spikes up in value. So if you want a quick increase in a card that's a no-brainer, that has a lot of play in EDH, that has proven itself and has a very, very low supply, all these factors are what you look at. This is definitely the card to get in on. I hope you enjoyed this list of cards from this week's episode of the Rogue Roundup. Be sure to check back next week. Or if you're a fan of this type of financial content, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. What are your 5 cards you're going to be investing in? Be sure to check out my other channel over at roguedeckbuilder.com for our weekly Market Monday episode. Thanks for watching.